So this beautiful piece of equipment is the red Gemini, and I've been shooting on this for the past couple years. At my work, I can definitely not afford this camera. This does not belong to me. The footage is absolutely insane, and a lot of that comes from, of course, what's inside the camera, the sensor, the color science, the processor, all that good stuff. But after shooting on it for a few years, I'm really surprised that a lot of the things I love about it are on the outside of the camera, which is why today we're talking about camera rigs and my top reasons why I think you should rig out your camera. As you can see, we're out here in downtown Birmingham. Got my boy Show on the camera, and we're just gonna go out and shoot. He's got his new rig, super dope. We're gonna go around and shoot, try to get some good frames, and I'll tell you those top reasons why I think you should rig out your camera. Let's do it. Okay, so number one is weight and stability. If you're shooting handheld with a mirrorless or a DSLR, you're gonna get shaky footage, but it's different than shaky footage with a cinema camera. When you shoot with a cinema camera handheld, it's nice, big, kind of like thick shake, and it's really tasteful and it has a really good look. Hollywood uses it all the time, but when you shoot handheld with a mirrorless camera, you have these nasty little ugly micro shakes, and it never really translates well. It's always like your hands are vibrating the camera. And there's kind of two components on the rig to that. Number one is just the amount of stuff, the monitor, the V-mount battery, the base plate that gives it a nice weight so that when it's in your hands, you're holding something really heavy, and gravity is actually helping stabilize your shot and getting those micro jitters out. The other thing is the top handle. Kind of the same thing, when you have a top handle, it allows gravity to just pull your camera down and stabilize it, but as opposed to just your mirrorless camera in your two hands, it's really light and your hands are vibrating it, and the shake just looks ugly. This dude just picked up the Blackmagic Pocket 6K Pro. What kind of pockets do they think we have?
I don't know, but it's definitely not gonna.
I mean, look at that. Top handle, rods, side handle. That's crazy.
No chocolate.
There's no way there's no chocolate.
There's no chocolate in the double clutch rounds.
Number two, are you rolling?
Yeah, I'm rolling.
All right, so number two is the monitor. Now, if you've shot on a Sony or a Canon or pretty much any mirrorless camera that shoots really good video these days, they still have a tiny little baby screen. Unlike the Blackmagic, which has a 5-inch monitor built in, all these other cameras have small little screens. Like I said earlier, a lot of this is inspired by shooting on the Red, and the Red has a 7-inch monitor. I never thought having a bigger screen would make me a better shooter, but it genuinely does. Having a screen that large closer to something you would actually watch the content on makes you look at composition a whole different way. When you have a 5 or a 7-inch monitor in front of you, you can line up your composition. You can put a lot more thought into it as opposed to looking down at a screen like this big and trying to imagine it being life-size. Everything in that screen is tiny, and that makes it really hard to get good compositions. All right, we're back at the office. We wrapped up. I don't know if we got anything cool, but before we go, the last thing, number 3, is battery. Let me grab this thing real quick. So, on the back, there is a V-mount, and the Sony A7siii can take power through USB-C, and then this thing has a little USB port. So I can power the monitor, my camera, and pretty much anything else I need to throw on here, like a follow focus. So instead of carrying around a bunch of extra batteries, I can just have 1 or 2 V-mounts, and it's gonna last me a lot longer. All right, y'all, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please hit like down below. Check out all of the links in the description if you want to pick up any of this gear. And if you're not subscribed already, hit subscribe. I'll see you next week.